Now, in the aftermath of the Chimera Ant arc, when Chairman Netero really kamikazes himself in an attempt to take Meruem with him, he just nuked the entire space. And Meruem's royal guards come running because not my king. And they do find his body, but he's literally cooked. Like, look, he's charred and oh my god. But by channeling the majority of their life energy into him, they're able to restore his body. And the partial fusion has made him even more powerful as a being. But this boost in power isn't the only change. As he recovers his memory, he begins to grow even more as a person, to the point where he's apologizing to the humans that got turned into ants and wishing them the best in the future. Like, what the hell? But then he starts to realize that even though he survived Netero's explosion, the bomb itself poisoned him. So he's just gradually dying, but he can still feel that something's missing. There was someone he cared about, he used to play a game with, but he can't remember them. And his royal guard's not trying to tell him because he's becoming more like a human. They want him to stay as their glorious ant king, but he's just constantly evolving. And after his guards start dying on him, he does find out about Komugi, remembering how precious she was to him. And he wants nothing more than to spend his final moments with her. So with his new powered up abilities, he just scatters his energy everywhere to try and pinpoint her exact location. While at the same time, Palm has been making arrangements to hide her because she doesn't know exactly what he wants with her. So when he sends his energy out to find her, all it leads him to is Palm that's hiding in the closet. But he says, hey, the war is over, y'all won. All I want to do is see Komugi. And I'm pretty sure you can tell that I'm dying, so all I want to do is see her. So she comes out the closet like, no way, he must be trying to exploit my empathy or something. This must be some plot to trick me. You're admitting defeat and showing compassion for a human, but he's really grown and changed so much. And even as this supreme being king that he is, he begins to bow to her as a show of humility. Like, I don't care about nothing, I just want to see Komugi. So she screams for him to stop, like, no, you can't do that. And she's still partially an ant too, so she just can't accept that. But after seeing how resolved he is to do this, she agrees to let him see her, but under the one condition that she can use her power to watch their final moments. And of course, he doesn't care. So he finds where she was hidden away, smiles and wakes her up, and they just banter back and forth setting up to play. And since she has no clue what's been going on, she just assumed Meruem saved her from whatever. But he's just thinking about his royal guards and how they were too good for him, but how he'll be seeing them soon because he doesn't have much time left. And they start playing. And the game start getting intense, like they start making high-level plays. So she starts crying like, I'm just so happy that I get to compete at such a high level. Saying, do I really deserve to be this happy? But that's when he admits that he's been poisoned and doesn't have much time to live, and that it's contagious, so if he stays here, then she's gonna die too. But even after hearing what he said, she just plays down the next piece, saying, Lord Meruem, right in this moment, I am very happy, and I may not be worthy, but please allow me to go with you. They just spend their last moments together doing the only thing they care about with the only other person they care about. I'm not about to read all their final compassionate words to one another. I'm already hurting enough. Just know it ended with her saying goodnight Meruem and him dying in her arms first. Now while all this was going on, Gon was dragging Pito back over to Kite so she could bring him back to life. But as we all know, bro cannot do that shit. So when he tells Gon that he can't do it and that he's just gonna kill him, our little buddy over here starts crashing out and makes a bunch of nen contracts to reach his peak power and maturity with no regard for what happens to his body. And now since his power is just on a completely different level, he starts beating the absolute shit out of Pito. And Killua pulls up on him beating a dead horse basically, so he's yelling for him to stop wasting nen because he doesn't know what type of price he's gonna pay. But Gon just doesn't listen at all and uses an even more powerful attack to finish him off, which puts his dumbass right in the hospital with Killua and everybody else that survived watching over him. Because the nen contracts he used were so strong, nobody can really help him. He can't just sit here and watch him die, so he leaves with his own plan and heads back to his home to make a request of his father to see his younger sister Aluka because he needs her help. But Killua is the only one that considers her a part of the family. Everyone else looks at her like a monster, saying that thing came from a place of darkness. But after Killua explains that he needs her to save his best friend's life, Silva relents and reminds him of her power. How she will just appear to be a normal child, but then all of a sudden become possessed by this something that has the power to grant wishes. All you have to do is obey 3 of her commands and she'll grant you a wish. But the bigger a wish you make, the greater the demands will be for the next person. So you don't really pay the price for your wish, the next person does. Like you could ask her for $1 trillion, but then when the next person time comes, you're not gonna be asking for a walk in the park. No, she's gonna be asking for your brain. Can I get your liver? Can you slide me your eyeball? And if you deny 4 of her demands in a row, you and the person you you love most will just die instantaneously. And because this power is so strong, the whole family just keeps her locked in her room. So Killer was the only one that goes inside to play with her, actually treat her like family. So he actually knows some things about her power that they all don't. And he tries to leave with her, but they're not trying to let him out. They want him to make the wish from inside here. So he threatens them with her power like, hey, if they don't let us off this mountain in 30 minutes, kill our mother. And they're all shook that he would even say that, but Aluka's like, all right, bet. In correction, his real sister is Aluka, but this other being inside her, he calls Nanika. And since he's holding the strongest weapon in the verse, they just let him out. Because it seems like the regular rules of her powers don't apply to Killua. So he starts heading back to help Gon, but remember, nobody else views her as a part of the family. So the whole time Killua is just trying to get back to the city, Illumi is doing everything he can to attack them and kill her. He's using his needles to control people and have them drive off of cliffs to try and crash into it. Get a bunch of chaos and conflict along the way, and unfortunately we did end up losing a long-time butler. Eventually, Killua does make it there to Gon's badly failing body. The time has come to lean on Aluka's power, and the surge of energy is felt throughout the entire city. And Illumi couldn't stop them, but he's still right on their ass. And while all this is going on, an election is being held to see who's going to replace Chairman Netero. So we really just learn a bunch about the personalities of the highest profile hunters. And after Gon gets healed, he busts right in because that's where he heard Jing was, his dad. But upon their first meeting, he just busts out crying and apologizing because his man's kite died protecting him. But he's like, come on now, he just underestimated his enemy. Like, that's really just on him for bringing you along. And this whole first interaction is just hilarious because everybody knows this is the first time he's meeting Gon and that he's really just a deadbeat dad. And there are so many micro interactions that I'm just glossing over for the sake of this quick recap. But apparently Kite got reincarnated through the Chimera ants into a girl. And that's who this person is. But after Killua made the wish, Illumi found him and was still threatening to kill her, and that they should just fall under his control to receive minimal freedom. But Killua was like, nah, I'm gonna protect Aluka and do my own thing. And says, hey Nanika, wake up. He tells her to take Illumi and send him back home. And as soon as he finishes the words, he's just teleported there like that. But they're all just like, damn. Killua really got God on his side. After he sends him home, he tells Aluka that she could never come out again. She's just trying to say, I love you, brother, and how much she cares about him. He yells at her like, no, you can't come out again. And she says, okay, before closing her eyes and shedding a bit of a tear before Aluka starts to wake up. And she's mad as shit like, what the hell did you say to Nanika? I can see her all crying and huddled up, bro. If you're nice to me, then you gotta be nice to her too. She's crying like, if you can't do that, then I hate you. So Killua slaps himself like, yo, that's my bad, man. Let me apologize. Let me talk to Nanika one more time. And when her eyes pop back up, he promises to protect her and that they're always gonna be together. And apologizing for being a rotten big brother. Like, this shit was so sweet. Oh, and Gon did go have a quick yap session with the new and not improved, this just young girl version of Kite.